Hello, Attorney Lee Marvin. Today's the day that I want to discuss deferred action for childhood arrivals, DACA, and green cards. Okay, so this process is very complicated. It usually comes down to two main questions: who can file, and where will your interview be? Okay, so it's kind of like an adventure, choose your own adventure. If you guys remember those old books, your destination depends on your choice, okay? This can get complicated, so let's go, okay? Who can file? So you probably already know that you need a sponsor who's a U.S. citizen or legal permanent resident to be able to start the process for your green card, okay? Most of our clients, it's a marriage-based request, so husband and wife process, but it could technically be other family members, your parents or your siblings. I say mostly marriage-based because if you have DACA, it means that you came here in the United States with or without a visa, and your parents probably did too. So if you're a stereotypical DACA recipient, you were brought into the country without a visa, therefore your parents don't have a visa. So it makes sense that your sponsor probably is going to be your U.S. citizen spouse or legal permanent resident, okay? But it could be anyone who's legally able to sponsor you could be the one who starts the process. So the right person is the first part of that. The second is, what do they do? They're filing the petition for alien relative, the I-130 application. That application is what gets the process started. After that, it depends on so many factors. So the I-130 is always going to be the petition that starts this process out. The question of where will your interview be? The biggest part of this process is where will the interview be? So if you have DACA, it means, again, you either entered without permission or you came with a visa and your permission expired, therefore throwing you into what's called unauthorized presence and complicating your life when it comes to your ability to get your green card. So it's most common for people to have entered without a visa. So basically, your status at the time of entry is the question you need to ask, okay? So if you entered with a visa, it's a little bit easier because you probably have the documents to show your legal entry, and those documents will basically allow you to move forward with the process inside the United States. I say probably because immigration today, this administration is very picky, right? Things that were automatic in the past no longer are. So people now have problems even if they enter legally. It's just the administration's idea of how they want to enforce immigration. So I definitely recommend that people try to do it with the destination being inside the United States for the interview, okay? Don't be surprised if immigration pulls a fast one and says you're not eligible and now you have to leave the country, okay? Any process for a green card, you're going through an attorney. You're not doing it yourself because too many things can go wrong, okay? Especially with DACA. So don't do any of this stuff without experienced legal assistance from somebody who specializes in immigration law, like me. So if you entered without a visa, it's almost certain, again, it's never completely 100%, but it's almost certain that you will be leaving the country for your interview, okay? So interviews outside the United States, and you're probably going to need a waiver, okay? So this depends on whether you need a waiver or not, depends on, again, how you entered, with a visa or without, and the age you were when you got DACA, okay? So DACA, if you got DACA before you turn 18, so you're a minor, you got it right away. So DACA does a lot of different things, and this video isn't about DACA, but I will tell you that if you got DACA before you were an adult, DACA protects you. So you do not accumulate unauthorized presence in the United States, okay? So DACA before 18, you're protected until you're sponsored by your family member. If you got it after you turn 18, that means, well, it depends when you got it. If you got it right away, your penalty might not be a 10-year bar, but you're definitely going to have issues where you need to file a waiver. So this unauthorized presence makes you need a waiver because once you leave for your interview, okay, it means that immigration is going to automatically apply some sort of bar, okay? So you need a waiver. So if you're married to a U.S. citizen, not a big deal. You have what you need to apply for the waiver. Hopefully you can qualify for it, but you have what you need to be eligible to apply for the waiver, okay? So again, enter with a visa. There's a good chance you can adjust status inside the United States without having to do anything. You enter without a visa, you definitely need to leave the country, and you may need a waiver depending on when you got DACA, okay? So that kind of sums it up a little bit. There are people that entered without a visa that would otherwise need a waiver unless they do a process that kind of was a hack, right? A hack on immigration for people that applied for advance parole. So that's permission to leave the country and to return without a bar, basically. And under the Trump administration, this was not allowed, blah, blah. It is now. So if you can apply for advance parole, you can successfully leave the country and return. You can always leave the country. You can't always return successfully. So you leave and you come back based on that advance parole. Well, that now puts you in a different category where immigration has the authority to allow you to adjust status inside the United States. They don't always do it. These guys are tricky, tricky, tricky. You never know what they're going to do until you actually try it. But if you do get an advance parole, chances are pretty darn good that you're going to be able to do the process inside the United States, okay? Which means you don't need a waiver. Waivers are tricky. They're expensive. And for some people, they're absolutely required. You can't get a green card without them. So, again, to summarize all this, DACA is extremely helpful, but it depends how you enter the country, when you got your DACA, and whether you are going to do advance parole or whether you're going to do the waiver process. So a lot of aspects to it, which is why I say again and again, don't do this stuff yourself. It is absolutely insanity if you try to figure this out yourself because you're not going to be able to. It's designed specifically for people to fail, I believe, and it's designed to require people to get an attorney. Why? Because the government doesn't want to deal with people who don't know what they're doing. They will make it difficult for you to do it. Even if you're complying legally, you won't know that because you're not a lawyer. So they will do things that will require things that you don't know what it means, how it applies, how it relates, because the government wants to push you to have an attorney because it makes their job easier, okay? So life is not fair. Immigration is not fair. The Biden administration is definitely not fair. Trump wasn't fair. No sitting president is ever fair with immigration. They do the best they can, and they maybe provide some little bit of assistance or a path for people to fix their status. But for the most part, it's very harsh, right? Which is why I do what I do and why I do it, right? Because most people can't figure this out. And if you don't go to the right attorney, you're going to have people that are going to prey upon your ignorance big time, right? They're going to try to tell you these things. They're not going to shoot straight with you. I shoot straight with people because I respect people, okay? I'm not saying that it's guaranteed that if you hire me, absolutely it's going to work, but I haven't had many denials. So the chances are good it will work out, but everything depends on your history and what's going on in your situation. So give us a call. Subscribe to our channel. We have helpful videos all the time. You're probably watching this video because you've already subscribed. And you need to check out our website because it has ways to contact us. Because, again, this stuff is ridiculously complicated. And especially with DACA, it would be a shame for you to not be able to get your green card because you didn't know how to do it, or you didn't want to take the time, effort, and spend the money, sometimes you have to hire the right attorney to do it for you. I am that attorney. I would love to help you. So reach out to us, and we will do everything we can to make sure that you get approved. And if we can't do it, we will tell you what options you have. But you do have to reach out to us for us to be able to help you. So good luck. Have a wonderful day, and reach out to us. We would love to help you.